Classic Rock 102.9 MGK. AC/DC's Brian Johnson on the phone. Brian, wait a second. Let me correct that. AC/DC's and producer Brian Johnson is on the phone. Good morning, Brian.
I like the sound of that. How are you doing, me son?
I'm doing great, pirate boy. I got to tell you, anytime I hear you talk, all of a sudden I feel like a buccaneer.
Laddie, no problem there. No.
Johnny Depp can kiss your ass.
Yes, sir, Bob.
How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing smashing, me son. I'm a bit raggy at the edges this morning. We just got back from Vancouver. I'm back on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Just finished some recording out there with the boys, you know.
Now, you guys went into the studio, what, in the beginning of March?
I think March 3 or something. And we went up there to Vancouver and got together for the first time in about 5 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was great, the old magic, you know, goosebumps.
And now, I realize that, most people in most bands are, not spending day and night together, but for the first time in 5 years that you guys were together, is that the longest you guys have ever been apart?
Absolutely. In between that time, when I popped to London, I'd see Malcolm and Angus, have a little dinner with them, how you doing, boys, take the families out. But basically, as a band or as a unit, we just never saw each other all together,
It's been nearly 8 years since there's been a record. I mean, Stiff Upper Lip came out in 2000. Okay, how come? Why so long?
Laziness. Just getting old.
What have you been doing?
Well, I've been racing. I like to race cars a lot, so I've been having a ball. But I've also been, just having fun with a little charity band that me and Cliff cobbled together, know. But basically, nothing much apart from, just racing and, writing songs with friends and all that. And but it was good to get back in the old fold with the boys in the studio. Mm-hmm. As soon as we started, the old goosebumps came up on everybody. It's got a great outfit. I mean, you can understand, I'm like the luckiest guy in the world. I just stand there listening to these guys every night, and I get in free. It's a pretty cool deal. I just, shout out a couple of words and all that, and I'm in. I don't think you can get a better job on the planet than mine, actually.
Is there a title for this record yet?
Not yet, me son. No, I mean, they're actually mixing it as it happens. We're working with Brendan O'Brien, Springsteen's producer.
Sure.
He's done Pearl Jam, and he's a
Velvet Revolver also. Yeah.
He's a gem. Yeah. The man's a gem.
Before you guys even got into the studio, the rumors about a tour started happening, and if there is an album, well, then it would make sense that there is a tour to follow. Can you confirm or deny?
I wouldn't like to do either, except to say you're probably right.
Might as well soak up the rest of the money that's out there.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, you guys are one of the most consistent bands live because it seems like you always know where your bread is buttered and you always deliver what people expect.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks for that. We'll try to. It's people do try to sidestep you, and try to say, listen, guys, I remember 15 years ago, I remember the record company going, guys, everybody's wearing leather these days. And big hair. Some of them have even got shoulder pads. And I went, lovely. And,
I got a hat.
That's it. That's me hat. And... But we never listened to them, they were all trying to change the image, and we said, well, what the trouble is, we don't have an image to change, basically. I mean, if you get right down to the nitty-gritty, it's just 5 guys with jeans, well, except Angus, who couldn't never find his. And,
or at least the rest of his.
Yeah. But, and I think he's got balls of steel to, even, at his age, even on the last tour, just saying, no, this is what I do, and he's all that ego is that schoolboy, If you saw Angus in a dressing room before a gig, you wouldn't recognize the man. He's quiet, he doesn't say a word, he's nervous, he's just like, butterflies in the stomach. And
Brian, in all honesty, I have to say, if I saw Angus dressed as a normal human being, I wouldn't recognize him.
No,
I would probably trip right over him.
Honestly, I tell you, you wouldn't notice him. And then he puts this suit on. you know, if I could say it, Clark Kent and Superman, and that's ridiculous, but basically that's what happens to the man.
Well, and what's great about you guys is that there are very few bands, in my opinion, who have achieved 100% comfort food status. There's no artistic search for musical purity or new directions. It just sounds great loud every time.
Ah, that's great. Thanks very much, my son. I mean, we're not subtle. Let's put it that way. Listen, people pay a lot of money for tickets, you know that, my son? And there's nothing worse. I remember when I was a kid, I'd gone to a concert, and then the artist would come on again, and here's some new songs from my conceptual album. And you're sitting there, you're going, I don't want to hear your concept, you big dick. I want to hear what I bought, you know. And that's the whole idea of it, you know. You want to feel comfort food, just like you said. That was a wonderful analogy.
Now, speaking of comfort food, you've just been part of a movie that, could make you hungry. Totally Baked. Now, Craig Shoemaker is one of my oldest friends. I've known Craig since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And, he's also from Philly. And now he told us a story of how the two of you met. I'm curious if they sync up, because after all, he's a comedian and known to exaggerate.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was. I remember it was 25 years ago. Gosh, was it 25 years ago? God. Anyway, I went this comedy club, and Craig was on, where I lived, and Craig was on the stage, and for some reason, he said to me, he says, hey, you, what do you do? Or something like that, and the audience just fell back laughing, and he went, what did I say? Because they knew who I was. He couldn't see me with the lights in his face now.
Okay.
And he found out after, he went, oh, God, what a schmuck. And so that's how we met, and we're going on really well, and I didn't realize that 25 years later that he'd ask us for some money to help him finish his movie. That was payback, that was.
I'm glad that you gave it to him, because eventually he would have worked his way down to me.
I think you were next, kid.
The movie is Totally Baked, and you've got 3 songs in the movie.
Yeah.
Did you just happen across? Did you just go, well, I've got these 3 songs I could use. We need some music, or did you write these purposely for the film? How did that come about?
Well, 2 of them were sort of half done, but one of them was specifically written. That was Who Fund the Law. Basically, Craig rang us first. He said, listen, Brian, have you got any songs? Because it was too expensive to rent them in, because you got to pay a lot of money to use soundtrack. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll go in and see Cliff, our bass player, Cliff Williams. And I'll see if we can cobble a couple of tunes together for you. And basically, that's what we did. I went down to Cliff's house in Fort Myers. We sat around, wrote these lyrics down. He wrote some music. And we did it in one take. We just did one take. And,
it's Shoemaker. It's not Spielberg.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Spielberg gets 3 takes.
I'll bet he's on the plane listening to this now, crying his eyes out. And they're talking about me, man. I could have been up there. But he sent the movie, and I saw it, and had a few friends around to watch it, and everybody started laughing. It was a bit slow at the start and all that, and then it just starts like an avalanche, and you just, in the end, there was friends on the floor that were crying. And then he hit us with a sucker punch when he said, do you like it? I said, I love it. He said, I'm 25 grand short, man. You gotta help me, man. I'm getting divorced. I'm tapped out, man. Please.
And
do
you fell
something.
for that?
God, I hate to see a grown man cry. So I sent him the money before I got sick.
See, that's the part of the story he didn't tell us. He makes it sound so Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like you just leapt at that. You begged to give him the money.
Right. Please let me have my music in it too.
It's like, can I give you 100,000? No, all I need is 25.
Did he tell you he had a gun in his hand at the time? He didn't tell you that either. Gee. And it was a back alley somewhere in Sarasota.
Well, the movie is Totally Baked. It is a potumentary, more of a teach and chong, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
It is in stores now. What was it? TotallyBakedMovie.com, the website.
Exactly right.
Brian, look, we look forward to you guys touring. We look forward to the album. Please, if you can, if you're in town, come on, stop by. If not, let's go drink, dude.
I will do, me son. You got a promise there. Just give us a shout when we're there, and I'll pop in. Thanks, lads. You take care now.
You take care. Classic Rock 102.9 MG.